Hi, today in art we're making a paper quilling butterfly. My friend Miss Buffong is here and she is going to show us how to roll tight strips of paper and then glue them and arrange them into our butterfly sculpture. Miss Buffong, would you go ahead and start rolling up one of the wings? What you're going to see as Miss Buffong gets ready to make her butterfly is she folds the first couple of pieces of her paper, estimating it at about 1/8 of an inch. She makes about 2 folds and then she starts to roll it. And this roll, this cylinder that she is making, has about the same thickness as a pencil. So as you're rolling it up, think about how thick a pencil is. You're trying to make a cylinder about the same size. Once she has that tightly rolled cylinder, she releases it. She lets the tension off of it. Then she is going to squeeze one end of that loose cylinder and make a fold on one end. There's a little tab of paper sticking out. That was the end of her paper. That part she is going to use a glue stick and glue it down to the rest of the purple roll. So this is one of the 4 parts of the butterfly's wings. For each one, you're going to see that she starts by making 2 folds and then rolling into a tube or a cylinder about the size of a pencil. So think about what that pencil feels like in your hand. Think about how large of a cylinder the pencil is. Then she releases the tension on the cylinder and squeezes one side to make a fold. And when she folds, she doesn't just fold the outside piece of paper, she folds all of the layers of paper. They're not really folded in exactly the same place. Inside, they loosen up a little bit. And when she puts glue on the last tab, she squeezes again. Now this first piece has come unglued, so notice she's just going to tighten it up by pulling on the loose end and putting it back into the shape of a teardrop, which was our final shape, and adding a little bit more glue. So for this butterfly sculpture, we need 2 big pieces that have a teardrop shape, and those are for the top wings of the butterfly. And then the next 2 will be medium size. The last 2 are going to be small sized, and those will be for the body of the butterfly. We're using a glue stick to make each one of these segments of the butterfly's body. And when we attach it all to the card that is the background, we will use liquid glue. So after she rolls into a cylinder, she releases the tension, squeezes one end to mold it into the shape of a teardrop, adds some liquid glue on the bit of paper that's sticking out, and folds it over so it is secure. Today we're using lavender for our butterfly wings. You could use any color for the butterfly wings. I recommend any bright color that is similar to the flowers that you see in springtime. The same is true with our flowers. When you add your flowers to your paper, you're welcome to use any color for that. I do recommend that you use bright colors, like the colors we see on flowers in the springtime. Warm colors like red, yellow, and orange are great. They're the two medium-sized pieces for the lower half of the butterfly's wings. The next two pieces are going to be pretty small, and these are going to make the butterfly's body. Start by making a couple of folds and then tightly rolling it. So the last couple of tubes we rolled up to be about the size of a pencil. This roll for the butterfly's body is going to be a little bit tighter, smaller than a pencil in size. But just like the others, once you make your tight roll, you're going to release some of the tension on it and let it expand just a little bit, and then squeeze one end to shape that cylinder into a teardrop shape. Add glue to the loose end, fold it over and glue it down. And one more small piece like that will help us make the butterfly's body. Now that we have all the pieces of the butterfly's body, Ms. Buffong is going to arrange the sculpture. She has also prepared some antennae. We just took one of these small strips of paper and cut it in half down the middle and twisted one half in one direction and one half in the other direction to be the antenna for the butterfly. So the antennae are already made. And so when she glues down this last part of the body and adds glue stick to the fold of paper so it stays in a teardrop shape, she's also going to use the glue stick to glue the antenna to the butterfly's body. Let's get a close-up look of that antenna that you made. So she just took one strip of paper and cut it right down the middle and bent or curled one half in one direction and one half in the other direction. We'll add some glue stick to the butterfly's body and then add the antenna by gluing it to one half of the butterfly's body. When it is time to build the sculpture and add all of the pieces to the butterfly to the card, we're going to use the liquid glue, and we're going to apply a little bit of liquid glue to each part of the body and then glue it down to the paper. So the parts of the body aren't necessarily glued to each other. For instance, the wings aren't necessarily glued to the butterfly's body. Everything is going to be glued to the background paper. So you'll see she is applying a very small amount of glue, very thinly, to part of the butterfly's body, and then starting by arranging the body. When you add the body parts to the paper, you might want to wiggle them around in the glue a little bit so it gets glue on all of the parts of the paper, and then slide it into position. That's one of the great things about working with the liquid glue, is that anytime you glue things down for a few minutes until it starts to dry, for a few minutes you can arrange it and move it around and get it in the position that you want. Next come the wings. Now, notice the body has the two round ends of the teardrops touching in the final arrangement. When you arrange the wings on the butterfly's body, you're going to have the pointed part is going to be touching the body. The two big wings are going to go on the top, closest to the antenna, and then the two smaller wings will go on the bottom, on the opposite end, away from the antenna. Now this glue needs a couple of hours to dry. Until it is fully dry in a couple of hours, we have to be very careful in moving our card with our paper butterfly quilling sculpture on it around so that the pieces don't fall off. It's going to take it a couple of hours before it's fully dry, and we don't have to worry about those pieces falling off, and we can hang it up so people can enjoy our art. Notice she's using a very small amount of glue. If we use too much glue and do a big puddle of glue, it's going to wrinkle our paper and buckle our paper. So we always use a very small amount and a very thin application. And if you'd like to add some flowers on there, we can do the flowers in the same way, just by making a simple roll of paper and then using a strip of paper for the stem of the flower. I can't wait to see how yours turns out.